Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to GNR Central. And today I want to talk about Guns N' Roses' legendary backstage theme parties that happen on the Use Your Illusion tour. Now, you guys have probably read about them in books, but we did an interview with Teddy Andreadis, who was on tour with Guns N' Roses for about a year and a half, and he went into some pretty great detail about what these parties were like backstage. So here's a clip of him talking about those parties, and then I want to cite some other sources, including Slash's book, an interview with Matt Sorum, as well as a really great article that was written about Guns N' Roses in 1992 when Life magazine was on the road with the band and basically talking about what was going on, and they highlighted the theme parties as well.
Back to those theme parties for the after shows.
Oh, God.
Oh, I forgot to ask about those. Thanks, Jeff.
Oh,
Is there any of the ones that stick out a little bit more than usual?
All I know is, because I wasn't a partner in the band, all I kept thinking of was, wow, how much is this one costing you guys? You know, I mean, these theme parties, man, were did you ever? I'm sorry, the fellow with the beard. What's your name?
Jeff.
Oh, sorry,
Jeff?
I got a beard too.
Jeff.
Sorry, it's Jeff.
Yeah.
It's Jeff.
Jeff, did you ever? Did Date know how to have a theme party?
I don't know, man. I was in
I
7th grade, and I was already getting grounded for you guys being on late and not going out to the car before you guys got on.
so Teddy, I
By the
remember
time you guys went on, my stepdad was already in the parking lot. Like, where the hell is that little shit?
So I remember reading Teddy that like a lot of the theme parties were on the Metallica tour, but was it like every gig had a theme party?
Pretty much, yeah. And depending on where we were, it like when we were in Indianapolis, we had a Indianapolis 500 theme. They would bring in a Formula One car and have girls, banner girls walking around, and they always had the hot tub, the jacuzzi with the strippers in it that nobody used. It was like, I'm not getting in that.
There's not enough bleach in that water in the world.
I'm not getting in that. And the funny thing was, they'd always have these parties after the show. And the last thing the guys wanted to do after playing 2.5 hours was, to go and entertain. It's like, so, me being the new guy, me and Dizzy and, would go, well, Ted, you go out there. You talk to, where was it? What was shit? That it was in Italy. We had a theme party, and it was what was that? The clothes guy that we.
Oh, Versace.
Versace.
I remember Versace was like good friends with the band.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Versace, and we had a theme party, and I remember I'm gonna go out and get something to eat. And he goes, Donatella's here, Slash, and she wants to know if you're coming out. Ted, you just go out and talk with her. I go, dude, they don't want to talk to me. He's fucking. It was her and the big tall black girl.
Naomi Campbell.
Naomi Campbell. Yeah. You said you go out to them. That's Slash. They want to talk to you guys. Why don't you guys come out already? So I didn't take my shower yet, or I'm tired, or you go out and just talk to them for about the next half hour. So I'd always go out there kind of and kind of soften it up until they came out. But it was always like that, man. It's like we had these massive parties, massive amounts of food and alcohol, and we had one party that had it was a Roman orgy theme, and it was like, at this point, because we'd gone on so late, the party got started about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And, I'm sitting there like, oh, man. And all of a sudden, these guys in these Roman gladiator guys come out. They're all oiled up, and they're carrying a roasted pig. And they're carrying a roasted pig over to the buffet table so that Axel can cut it up. But I'm kind of like, nodding back in my chair, and I look up and I go, oh, it's a dream. It's a dream. I'm just dreaming this. These 4 oiled up guys, with a roasted pig.
So how many people would attend these parties? Was it just the band members? Or?
No, man. These were done in, like, if they weren't done in the parking lots under tents. They were done in some giant room at the venue. Oh, hundreds of people, man.
Wow. So did you
Yeah.
ever have like a lot of famous celebrities come and hang out with the band?
Oh man, I remember Billy Joel, Donald Trump in the early Donald Trump days. Um,
Well, Trump was a big fan of Guns N' Roses. I remember
yeah,
reading.
yeah. I met him at I think it was Madison Square Garden. I think it was the Garden where we met Billy Joel and those guys. Who else? Well, of course, Brian May and those guys who would come out before we played with them. Um, who else? It's hard to remember, but yeah, there was always some kind of big star that would come back to the shows. A lot of strippers. That was the most important thing to me anyway, because I was single. So
Now, Slash in his book talked a bit about the parties, and I think that's where at least I became familiar with these backstage parties. So he said from the start of the tour, referring to the Metallica Guns tour in the summer of '92, Axl was out to impress Metallica and everyone else in his own way. He brought up the idea of having backstage parties every single night. Theme parties that would be a lounge for our guests, like the Stones had on their tours, and Axl would end up hiring his stepbrother Stuart and his sister Amy to be part of the management team, and they were basically put in charge of organizing these parties according to Axl's vision. They had no experience doing so, of course. I saw their work in action, and it was both uncool and yet another unnecessary extravagance. I never went to one of those parties during the entire tour. The whole idea of it was just too self-indulgent, too self-centered, and too showy for me to even think about participating in good faith anyways. Actually, I'm wrong. I went to one time to look for someone. As I recall, it was a Roman bath party with a huge jacuzzi in the middle of the room, and I know they did a casino night, a Mexican fiesta, and a bunch of other things. So for each of these parties, Axl's siblings would be hustling every day to get it done. The Metallica guys off the bar disassociated themselves from that whole freak show, and it was like no one even wanted to say anything about it. The subject of the theme parties and Axl's behavior reminded me of the first Creepshow film and the episode about the thing under the stairs in a box that ate people and no one wanted to talk about. It was always a good time, but the same. Axl and our inability to get on stage on time was like the big elephant in the room every night. No one would bring it up, but it was obvious that we were all thinking about it. Now, Lars Ulrich never said anything to me, but he did to our drummer Matt Sorum, and it was both humiliating and embarrassing how lame these parties were and how disappointed Metallica was that we basically couldn't even get on stage each night. And I think that the reason Axl went on stage so late and never understood how offensive, selfish, and inconsiderate it was to everyone involved, both from the fans to the band, was that he saw it as something other than what it really was. And that is why he felt like he was doing something that other people just didn't get. I think somewhere both in his mind, it was cool to keep people waiting as if it would serve to build anticipation rather than create frustration. And I think it was all building up what Guns was meant to be in his mind. And in the face of that, he simply could not comprehend how what he was doing didn't make complete sense to the rest of us or the world. And I couldn't do a damn thing about it. Metallica was earning the exact same paycheck as we were every night, but while they pocketed the whole thing, we were blowing 80% on both union dues for all the overtime we cost ourselves going on late night after night, and on those stupid theme parties. It was just plain bad. Now, by the end of the Metallica tour, or around that time, the band had basically been bled dry by going on late night after night and having these theme parties. So according to Slash's book, at the end of our year-long tour, the biggest mistake of all came to light. We'd barely made any money. Between the union dues incurred by Axl taking the stage late night after night and the theme parties that bled us dry night after night, we had next to nothing to show for our hard work. Doug, who was our manager, finally confronted Axl about his spending on the Metallica tour and the fact that our profit margins had been eaten up by our excess. I think Axl had a few suggestions as to cost cutting that really wouldn't have done much, but Doug finally got through to him. He told Axl that if he wanted to keep his nice new multi-million-dollar mansion in Malibu, he needed to earn more money. And so Doug booked us another year of dates, starting with South America, Europe, Japan, and Australia from October of '92 through January of '93. As hard as it was to endure, Doug got no argument from me or from the rest of us. We wanted to play. And what else was I going to be doing anyways? And at the same time, I thought maybe things would change. I also wondered continually whether the extra tour had been booked out of concern for the band's finances or to land Doug a hefty commission. In the Mick Wall book, Matt Last of the Giants, they do also quote a Matt Sorum interview he gave after he'd left Guns N' Roses, and he talked a bit more about the theme parties. He'd basically said that we'd spend $100,000 a night on parties, said Sorum. For 2.5 years, there was something every night, as well as an open bar, several pinball machines, pool tables, hot tubs, and strippers dancing on tables. One night would be Greek night, where you'd have 4 greased-up, muscle-bound guys carrying in a roasted pig. Another night would be 60s night, with lava lamps on all the tables and slogans spray-painted on the walls saying "Acid is groovy" or "Kill the pigs." There was also limos on call 24 hours a day. The first night we played Giant Stadium, said Matt, there was one pinball machine and a few bottles of booze backstage. Axel came in and said, "This isn't the Rolling Stones." So the next night there was a full casino, tons of lobster, and champagne flowing everywhere. Then in addition to that, Life magazine was on the road with Guns N' Roses when they were at the tail end of their tour with Metallica, and they talked about what happened backstage. So they said pretty much after every gig there was a party backstage, and one of the shows they were at was the one in New Orleans in this late summer, early fall of '92. And the article says it was a good show. The band feels high. After there's a usual backstage party with the usual hors d'oeuvres, open bar, pinball machines, pool table, hot tubs, and strippers. But these strippers say the heck with the hot tub and just do their stripping and basically undulate on the tables. Duff doesn't go to the party. He goes back to the hotel and calls his wife Linda. Slash doesn't stay at the party. He goes back to the hotel with his wife Renee. Axel stays at the party until 5 a.m. Upon his table, 3 strippers weave around another, trying to please them with their long legs and red fingernails. Axel takes photographs of them for a while, then puts the camera away. Axel then leans towards the naked women, smiling shyly, saying thank you, and as gently as a man appreciating a sweet gift, he turns to a young blonde fan seated next to him and says goodbye, then asks his brother Stuart to please take him away from this place of temptation. So that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, guys, go subscribe and hit the like button, and go check us out at gnrcentral.com for the latest Guns N' Roses news. Take care.
Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!